Well, hello and welcome to I Love Gay today. And we are here with a special friend of mine, Christopher MacLellan. How are you?
I am much better today, Matt, because I get to visit with you. God, what
Years.
was it we were in Milan when the last time we did this?
We
Goodness
were.
gracious. Boy,
What's really
that was a fun week.
well,
Yeah.
what's really interesting is that you and I were like a true modern day connection. We were already connected online, social media.
Right.
I'm enjoying watching, a lot of what you're posting with Aging Gayfully.
Yes.
And so I knew what you looked like and I knew you were at IGLTA. And I thought, oh, it'd be great to be able to connect with him in the real world. It's great to bridge those worlds. And then I'm just cruising along on my way to the first thing, and there you are. And
And
for you and I, it was the rest is history.
the rest is history. And we've stayed in touch and we've looked at different opportunities to kind of collaborate. But the best part about it is just being friends. And today, we'll talk a little bit about aging gayfully, but I
Yeah.
really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about a project that's very near and dear to me, the My Green Folder Film Project.
Well, that's really it. That's in that sense that out of all the things that you and I have kind of chatted about and we may work on in the future together, but this one project, this one is my Green Folder Film Project, but this one is completely near and dear to your heart.
Right. My partner Richard Schiffer and I were very fortunate. We were featured in a 2015. Goodness, if my math's right, that's 9 years ago.
Yeah.
2015 Pulitzer Prize nominated LGBT caregiving story called "In Sickness and Health: A Couple's Final Journey."
Yeah.
And through that experience, I think the story's been read over 500,000 times. I still get comments about the story
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
And one of well, my last act of caregiving for my partner, Richard, is to bring our story to film.
Mhm.
And people have asked me, why film? Well, one, Richard always wanted to be in theater. And I thought this would be a way to honor him.
Yeah.
But the other thing is our story is not that our story is any different than any other caregiving story out there, but for LGBT seniors and caregivers, it is different. While marriage equality has leveled the playing field for some, that doesn't really tell the whole story. And our story happened before marriage equality
Yeah.
became law. And everywhere I went with Richard and during our healthcare journey, I carried a green folder with me
Yeah.
with all our important legal documents to prove to any unsuspecting medical or
Yeah.
legal person that I had legal rights to him. And we did experience some discrimination in some of the worst of times in the midst of our care journey. And for me to put this story together in my green folder, it really not only does it honor Richard, but it tells the story of love, care, and commitment.
Yeah.
It's more than just a caregiving story. It's a story that bridges the gap between generations. It's a
Mhm.
story that reminds us the importance of love, care, and commitment. And one of those things that often happens in my goodness, now over 15 years as being an LGBT caregiving advocate is
Yeah.
having those open and honest discussions with your partner, with your husband, with your wife
Yeah.
about what you want at end of life.
Yeah.
And these are often tough discussions to have, but the My Green Folder film story really demonstrates to everyone, but not only why everybody needs a green folder, even if you're married or not married,
Yeah.
but why it's important to have these conversations so that when that day comes, you have the knowledge of knowing that you can act based on what your partner, your spouse, has told you to do. And goodness, I've been on a mission for a couple of years now. I've had to get this film project to production, but I'm just a little old podcaster. I'm not in the entertainment industry, and I've gone through all the traditional
Yeah.
ways of reaching out to actors, producers, directors, uh, and it's not that it's gone on deaf ears. I've gotten a
Yeah.
couple of response saying you have a great story, but I've got other projects.
Yeah.
And recently, actually recently, December of 2023, I saw this wonderful post in Variety magazine about AARP Entertainment and the Creative Coalition, who are working together to bring care stories
Yeah.
to the screen. Now, I I guess I'm a little prejudiced in one sense. I think I got a pretty good story, but
Yeah.
I thought that's my opportunity to get the story in front of people who understand care in one sense. And what I mean by that is, uh, it really takes a caregiver to know a caregiver,
Mhm.
to know what the ins and outs and the emotional, physical, spiritual impact that has on everybody. So I I immediately got into my contacts with AARP, sent the
Yeah.
information out to the film for the film, joined the Creative Coalition, and have tried to, to reach people that could look at the story.
Yeah.
And, again, it's hard since I'm not in the entertainment industry to get somebody to notice. And I've come up with this, I don't know, you tell me, it might be a crazy plan, but if I think one way to get people to notice about the story is to have people comment about the story. So I'm on a mission to get 100,000 testimonials about why the My Green Folder film project should be taken to production. I think
Yeah.
it's again, I don't want to be a legend in my own mind, but I think we have a viable story
Yeah.
for all audiences. This is this is not just an LGBT story
Yeah.
or a caregiving story. This is a love story, and I
Yeah.
think when people have the opportunity to go to the mygreenfolderfilm.com, they'll see all the episodes of our story that was published in the South Florida Sun Sentinel. They'll see a video that was done with Richard and I by the photojournalist and the journalist who wrote the story.
Yeah.
My hair is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be in different spots because that story, that's now 10 years old.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it puts everything into perspective. And I think why it's so important now is that we've seen some of our rights being taken away.
Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say that marriage equality could be on the chopping blocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our story demonstrates why, not only why marriage equality is so important,
Mhm.
but why all these, and I use this word with kind of quotations about why all the advantages of marriage are
Yeah.
so important for everybody. And most people don't, because we don't really think of it at the time when life transitions, but uh, that that marriage license gives you complete access, no matter what side of the fence you're on.
Yeah.
You have complete access to that person. And, even uh, for gay couples, we know that the rules are always been different for us.
Yeah.
Um, we might still need to carry a green folder with us just because of we're never going to replace somebody's bigotry, but that does level the playing field. And that's why I think it's so important to tell the story through a real life story that people have gravitated to.
Yeah.
And it is my last act of caregiving for
Yeah.
my partner, Richard.
I love that. And but I think it's also because a lot of, especially when you go through the website or see some of your social media, it really is clear it's a love story. It's a devotion between same sex partners, but also you really focus on the fact that there's a variety of differences that are so easy to overcome, whether it's age or religion and so forth.
Right.
And I think that's really going to help encourage, especially to gather 100,000 testimonials, to be able to encourage others to be able to talk about some of the things that have resonated with them difference wise as well.
Yeah, I have this in my years of podcasting, I've come up with this phrase. It's through story sharing where diversity meets the road to collaborate on a common cause. And, one of the reasons our story was so successful was that people, no matter what color, what orientation, what gender, they could relate to our story. They could
Mhm.
relate to the struggles of the financial struggles we had, the healthcare struggles, dealing with the legal system, all
Mhm.
these things that are thrown into you. And in most cases, you're thrown into these things as a caregiver in an emergency. I've
Yeah.
not met one person in my 15 years of advocacy for caregiving that's
Yeah.
had caregiving on their bucket list of things to do in life.
Yeah.
Nobody, nobody plans for an emergency. Nobody plans for an unfortunate accident. But
Yeah.
I will tell you, Matt, I've had a couple of listeners to my podcast. They've called me and they've
Mhm.
said, I have chosen to be a caregiver because my spouse, my partner, had a health issue before uh, we uh, we got married. And I thought, again, it's another proof of why it's so important to get those stories out. And I learned quite a bit
Yeah.
from those listeners. But
Yeah.
and again, it just comes back to that ability to tell a story
Mhm.
and be present with people because when it comes to caregiving,
Yeah.
there's no boundaries. Everybody's impacted by it, and it's impacted my life
Yeah.
uh, quite a bit. And this is something that I'm never going to give up trying to get to
Yeah.
production. But I
Yeah.
need your help.
Yeah.
I need you to go to mygreenfolderfilm.com and fill out the brief testimonial, read the story, watch the video, send me your comments. And if you have a story that you want to share,
Yeah.
we can get that. Maybe, Matt, maybe we can collaborate on putting some of these stories together. What do you think?
Yeah, and that's the thing, especially through social media, you're going to be monitoring a hashtag as well, which I'll make sure is included in all of the where this is posted, because people can just simply put their
They
short
put their
version of a story out there on social
Yeah.
media, photos, videos, so forth, and then hashtag it, and we'll be able to find it.
Yeah, and I created a video to send to.
Yeah.
I'm really stepping into my comfort zone here. I created a video for Tim Daly, who
Okay.
is the president of the Creative Coalition, and Tim is I don't know Tim. He I know I love Madam Secretary, and
Yeah. Yeah.
he was a central figure in Madam Secretary, and he's been in Wings and a number of other
Hmm.
projects. And of course, his sister is Ty Daly, but he's the president of the Creative Coalition, and I've got a video for him
Yeah.
uh, to just take a look at our story. I mean, I
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
again, I think it's a viable story, but I also know that I can't just sit there and wait for somebody to come to me.
Yeah.
I've got to look at a different way of getting the story out there so that decision makers in the entertainment industry can make that decision and
Yeah.
look at
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
from a perspective. And I think, I don't know, you see the sign behind me. If you can dream it, you can do it.
Yep.
But I think if I get 100,000 testimonials, I think somebody might pay attention to that
Yeah.
instead of me just writing these nice emails. Oh, would you look at our story? And that seems to just kind of go nowhere because I've done all the right
Mm.
things.
Yeah.
I've joined IMDb. I've got a list of directors, and I've written nice emails. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is going to have some impact. And goodness, I certainly enjoy reminiscing and talking about my partner, Richard. We were the old Mutt and Jeff combination. He was a foot shorter than me.
Yeah.
He claimed to be an agnostic Jew, and I am a former Catholic seminarian, and we had the best 11 years of
Yeah.
both of our lives.
Yeah.
And I never want to forget, I will never forget that part of our life, but I want to honor him
Yeah.
with this project.
Well, I think this is amazing. And I hope that even this interview itself will just be one small step towards you being able to realize those goals. And mostly, I'm just really glad that you're able to take a few moments of your time and share a bit of this story with our audience here.
Well, Matt, I just go back to that week in
Yeah.
Milan.
Yeah.
We had connected, as you mentioned earlier, we connected before, and we've had a good connection since. And I'm looking forward, so grateful for you to putting this out to your audience and being a part of this message. And it looks like we're going to collaborate a little bit on the aging gayfully too, which is fun.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to seeing where all this goes. But no, in the meantime, I look forward to also seeing you in the real world again soon.
Matt, you're the best.
And it feels good, so good.